Over 200,000 people left the UK last year, many of them immigrants who once called it their forever home. That's not just a number, it's a powerful signal. People who fought to get here, who built lives and careers, are now packing their bags and walking away. Why is this happening? The UK, once seen as a land of opportunity, is suddenly being left behind. And it's not just about politics, it's about broken promises, silent struggles, and a system that's pushing people to their limits. From crushing living costs to emotional burnout, the reasons are deeper and more personal than you think. What changed? What pushed so many over the edge? And more importantly, could even more people follow? These are stories no one's talking about, but today we're diving straight into the truth. Reason by reason, the real picture unfolds, and it's more revealing than you can imagine. Number 1. Post-Brexit bureaucracy fatigue. Since the UK's departure from the European Union, many immigrants have been hit with a wave of administrative complexity. Tasks that were once straightforward, like renewing a visa or applying for permanent residency, have now become stressful and time-consuming hurdles. With the end of freedom of movement, the UK introduced a points-based immigration system, which sounds efficient on paper but has turned into a maze of documentation, qualifications, and arbitrary decisions. For thousands, even routine applications now involve long waits, unexpected rejections, and skyrocketing legal costs. This growing bureaucratic overload has especially impacted skilled workers and long-term residents who once considered the UK their permanent home. Healthcare professionals, engineers, and teachers, many of whom played vital roles during the pandemic, now face a constant stream of paperwork just to maintain their status. The system, once seen as an opportunity, now feels more like an obstacle course. One misstep, a missing document, or even a delay in payment can mean rejection or forced departure. That level of pressure creates an ongoing sense of insecurity and instability, even among those who have lived and worked in the UK for over a decade. Beyond the policies themselves, it's the emotional weight of not knowing whether you'll be allowed to stay. Families live in fear of separation, professionals worry about job security, and many no longer feel like they belong. The trust that once existed between immigrants and the system has eroded. Without clarity, support, and transparency, many have decided that the cost of staying outweighs the promise of opportunity. For them, it's no longer just about policy, it's about peace of mind. Number 2. Soaring cost of living. Across the UK, the cost of living crisis has reached unprecedented levels, and immigrants are among the hardest hit. Essentials like rent, groceries, transport, and energy bills have seen sharp increases, with little to no wage growth to match. According to a 2025 report from the Resolution Foundation, the average household now spends over 60% of monthly income just to cover basic needs. This financial squeeze is especially harsh for migrants supporting families back home through remittances, often sacrificing personal comfort for those they left behind. The situation becomes more challenging in major cities where most immigrants live and work. In London, Manchester, and Birmingham, rent for a modest flat has doubled in just a few years. Many are forced into shared housing, long commutes, or unsafe neighborhoods just to make ends meet. Rising prices in food and transportation leave little room for savings or emergencies, pushing many into financial anxiety. For those on temporary visas or low-wage jobs, there's little access to public support, making the struggle even more isolating. What's even more disheartening is the loss of hope. For many immigrants, the UK once symbolized economic mobility and a better life. But now, the daily grind is dominated by survival, not success. Dreams of building a home, starting a business, or saving for the future have been replaced by fear of unexpected bills or job loss. The UK no longer feels like a stepping stone, it feels like a dead end. With more affordable, stable alternatives abroad, it's no surprise that many are choosing to leave. They aren't giving up, they're choosing dignity over struggle. Number 3. Discrimination and hostile environment policies. While the UK presents itself as a multicultural society, many immigrants continue to face systemic discrimination in their everyday lives. From subtle microaggressions to overt exclusion, the message is often clear: you don't fully belong. Surveys by Equality and Human Rights Commission show a rising number of complaints about racial profiling, workplace bias, and unequal access to housing and healthcare. These are not isolated incidents. They are patterns that wear people down over time. Government policies have only added fuel to the fire. The so-called hostile environment strategy, designed to make staying in the UK without legal status more difficult, has had far-reaching consequences. Legal migrants, too, feel its sting through frequent checks, harsh visa renewal rules, and punitive restrictions on public services. Schools, hospitals, and landlords are often required to check immigration status, turning everyday interactions into sources of stress and fear. Even those who've lived here for years report feeling like second-class citizens, always being reminded that they are under watch. The emotional toll of such treatment is heavy. Parents worry about how their children are treated in schools. Professionals dread disclosing their background in job interviews. Students struggle to feel included. The constant sense of being judged, questioned, or singled out leads many to ask, why stay in a place that questions your presence? With more inclusive and welcoming environments available elsewhere, the UK is increasingly seen not as a sanctuary, but as a space of conditional acceptance. For many immigrants, respect and dignity are non-negotiable, and if they can't find that in the UK, they'll look elsewhere. Number 4. Stagnant wages. Even as prices climb, wages for immigrants in the UK have remained stubbornly unchanged. For many working in essential sectors like healthcare, cleaning, transport, and hospitality, the pay simply doesn't reflect the hours, skill, or effort required. Reports from the Low Pay Commission show that real wages, when adjusted for inflation, have either stalled or declined over the past 2 years. Immigrants, who are overrepresented in low-paid but vital jobs, are feeling the pinch most acutely. It's not just about the paycheck. It's about feeling undervalued. Many immigrants took on critical roles during the pandemic, often risking their health, but now find themselves stuck in positions that offer little growth, stability, or recognition. Career advancement is difficult, especially with visa restrictions and employers hesitant to sponsor migrants long-term. Even highly educated individuals are working below their qualifications simply because it's the only way to stay legally employed. That disconnect between talent and opportunity is frustrating, demoralizing, and deeply unfair. There's also a growing sense of being trapped in survival mode. After rent, food, and transport, there's little left for savings, personal development, or family support. People came expecting to build a future, but instead find themselves just trying to get by. When compared with countries like Canada or Germany, where skilled migrants receive better pay and a clear pathway to residency, the UK begins to lose its appeal. For many, staying means choosing a life of economic stagnation. Leaving, on the other hand, feels like reclaiming control over their own destiny and their financial dignity. Number 5. Better opportunities elsewhere. Around the world, countries are rolling out the red carpet for skilled immigrants, and people are taking notice. Nations like Canada, Germany, Australia, and even Portugal are offering not just better pay, but faster residency, family-friendly benefits, and supportive integration programs. These countries are actively addressing labor shortages by creating clear, attractive paths for immigrants to thrive, not just survive. In contrast, the UK's immigration system feels like it's pushing people away. There's uncertainty around visas, minimal career development support, and a noticeable lack of recognition for foreign qualifications. Meanwhile, Canada is offering permanent residency within 2 years for healthcare workers. Germany is simplifying its visa routes and allowing migrants to bring families with fewer restrictions. These aren't just better options, they're life-changing opportunities. For immigrants weighing their choices, the comparison is stark: struggle in a system that doubts them, or move to a place that values their contribution. Immigrants aren't just chasing better pay. They're chasing respect, security, and belonging. They want to raise children in environments that are inclusive. They want to work without fear of visa expiry. They want to build homes without fighting through layers of red tape. When a country not only welcomes you but invests in your success, it's a powerful invitation. The decision to leave the UK isn't always about rejection. It's about choosing something better. As more migrants make that leap, they're sending a message. The global talent pool is no longer willing to settle for less. And right now, the UK is being outcompeted. Number 6. Housing crisis. Finding affordable, stable housing has become one of the biggest challenges for immigrants in the UK. Whether it's renting or buying, the housing market is now marked by sky-high prices, limited availability, and intense competition. According to the National Housing Federation, there's a shortfall of over 300,000 homes each year, and immigrants, often new to the system, face the toughest odds. Even when housing is available, it's frequently overcrowded, poorly maintained, or located far from jobs and schools. The problem runs deeper than cost. Landlords often require years of UK rental history, guarantors, or high deposits, putting immigrants at a clear disadvantage. Discrimination is also a reality, with many facing bias based on ethnicity, visa status, or even accents. Some are forced into unregulated rental agreements with no tenant protections. These housing conditions create a ripple effect, affecting health, education, and overall quality of life. For families with children, the impact is even more damaging. A secure home is more than just a roof. It's a foundation for growth. With all of this combined, housing becomes not just a logistical problem, but a daily stressor. Constant moves, rising rents, and lack of security make it nearly impossible to settle and plan for the future. Compare this to countries like the Netherlands or Canada, where government-supported housing programs and tenant protections make long-term stability more attainable. When a basic human need becomes a never-ending fight, many ask themselves, is this still worth it? For a growing number of immigrants, the answer is no. A home should be a place of peace, not pressure. Number 7. Healthcare system strain. The UK's National Health Service, NHS, has long been a point of pride, but in recent years, it's become a source of growing frustration and concern, especially for immigrants. Long waiting times, staff shortages, and resource gaps have made accessing timely care increasingly difficult. A 2025 report by the British Medical Association revealed that some patients are now waiting over 12 months for basic procedures. For immigrants, many of whom already face barriers like language, status-related eligibility, or fear of being reported, this delay turns into a serious health risk. What makes this worse is the cruel irony that many immigrants actually work within the NHS as nurses, porters, and carers, yet struggle to access the very care they help provide. For those with families, this becomes even more urgent. Children with special needs, elderly relatives, or mental health concerns often go unseen and unsupported. While the UK government continues to debate reforms, families are stuck navigating a broken system where getting an appointment can feel like winning the lottery. Healthcare isn't just a service, it's a symbol of security and dignity. And when people can't trust the system to take care of them in times of need, they begin to question everything else. In countries like Sweden, France, or New Zealand, immigrants report better outcomes, faster access, and more inclusive care policies. The contrast is clear. For many, healthcare is the tipping point, the line between staying and leaving. When your well-being feels like an afterthought, finding a country that truly values your health and humanity becomes not just a choice, but a necessity. Number 8. Tightening family reunification rules. One of the deepest motivations for immigration is the dream of bringing family together, but in the UK, that dream is becoming harder to achieve. Recent changes to family visa policies have introduced higher income thresholds, complex documentation, and longer processing times. According to new Home Office guidelines, a sponsor now needs to earn over £38,700 per year to bring in a spouse or child, far above what many essential workers earn. This policy shift has turned what should be a personal right into a financial hurdle. For immigrants already under pressure, this creates an impossible choice: pursue a better future alone, or give it all up to reunite with loved ones elsewhere. The emotional toll is enormous. Parents miss birthdays, partners spend years apart, and children grow up without one parent present. These aren't just inconveniences, they're life-altering sacrifices. The rules don't just split families, they force people to live in a constant state of waiting and uncertainty, unsure whether their loved ones will ever join them. Meanwhile, countries like Australia, Canada, and Germany have made family reunification faster and more flexible, seeing it as a vital part of integration. In contrast, the UK's approach feels rigid and transactional, as though love must be earned through paychecks. For many, this is the final straw. When a system tells you that your family isn't welcome, it stops feeling like a home. And so, people leave, and not because they failed to fit in, but because they refuse to let borders divide their lives. Family isn't a privilege, it's a human right. Number 9. Uncertain future for young people. For many immigrant families, the ultimate goal of relocating to the UK was to secure a brighter future for their children. But in 2025, that vision feels increasingly out of reach. Rising university tuition fees, a competitive job market, and growing social inequality are casting long shadows over the dreams of second-generation immigrants. Parents are questioning whether the sacrifices they made are still worth it, especially when the path to success for their kids is so unclear. Beyond academics, young people from immigrant backgrounds often face unspoken barriers, from discrimination in schools to limited mentorship opportunities and biased hiring practices. Studies from the Institute for Public Policy Research show that children of immigrants are less likely to access high-paying professions, even with equivalent qualifications. The result is a sense of disillusionment and alienation, where talent and ambition are not enough to break through structural walls. For many parents, watching their children struggle with identity and belonging is heartbreaking. Meanwhile, other countries are offering education incentives, youth development programs, and clearer paths to employment and inclusion. Places like Finland, Canada, and the Netherlands are actively investing in the next generation of migrants. In contrast, the UK feels like it's standing still, expecting young people to succeed in a system not built for them. As parents weigh their options, the decision becomes clearer. If the UK can't guarantee a fair chance for their children, they will seek out nations that can. Because every parent deserves to see their children thrive, not just survive. Number 10. Emotional burnout. Behind every immigration story is a journey of hope, sacrifice, and resilience. But even the strongest individuals can reach a breaking point. After years of dealing with paperwork, financial pressure, cultural isolation, and uncertainty, many immigrants in the UK are experiencing deep emotional burnout. It's not just about policies or paychecks. It's about the constant mental and emotional strain of feeling like you must always justify your place in the country you live in. From the outside, it might look like a stable life, a job, a flat, maybe even a family. But beneath the surface, there's often a daily battle with anxiety, exhaustion, and the fear of losing everything overnight due to a visa issue or policy change. Simple things like applying for a mortgage, visiting a GP, or attending a parent-teacher conference become emotionally charged when you feel like an outsider. Over time, these micro-stresses add up, eroding confidence and sense of self-worth. Eventually, people ask themselves, is this the life I envisioned? When the answer is no, leaving becomes an act of self-preservation, not defeat. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing peace over pressure and dignity over doubt. Many are now prioritizing their mental health, their family's emotional stability, and a sense of belonging that no longer exists in the UK. Emotional burnout is invisible, but powerful, and it's quietly driving thousands to pack up, move on, and rebuild somewhere that offers not just opportunity, but also compassion and rest. They arrived with hope, stayed with determination, and are now leaving with disappointment. The story of immigrants leaving the UK in 2025 isn't just about policies or politics. It's about real people facing unseen battles. For many, the dream that once pulled them here has been replaced by a reality of rising costs, endless bureaucracy, and silent suffering. They're not leaving for better weather. They're leaving for better chances, better respect, and a better life. What's most striking is how many of these decisions aren't sudden. They've been building quietly for years. Every visa rejection, every missed opportunity, every moment of feeling like a foreigner in your own home adds up. And now, people are choosing to walk away, not because they failed, but because they finally realized they deserve more. So what do you think? Are we witnessing the collapse of a system or the rise of a global shift in migration power? Is the UK still a land of opportunity or just a memory of one? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment, even one sentence, about how this situation affects you, your family, or your perspective. And if you found this eye-opening, you won't want to miss our previous video, where we broke down how global immigration patterns are changing in 2025. You'll be surprised at what we uncovered there. Support matters. We put days of research and passion into every video we make. Subscribe. Just one click makes a big difference for us. Tell us your story in the comments. We actually read them. And don't leave just yet. Watch our last video for even more insights you won't find anywhere else.